In the twilight of 1910, Rabindranath Tagore scripted a symphony beyond poetry, Gitanjali, a beacon that would illuminate the world. The collection, steeped in devotion and poignant yearning, revealed a soul intertwining the human spirit with the divine. Its arrival was not just literary, it was a seismic ripple, echoing through the chambers of global consciousness, forever altering how the West perceived the East. As the verses of Gitanjali serenaded hearts, across the oceans came the physician-poet William Butler Yeats, fascinated by Tagore's mysticism. His translation transformed these Bengali hymns into an anthem of universal brotherhood, awakening a West confined by convention. In November of 1913, Cambridge witnessed Tagore receiving the Nobel Prize in Literature, the first non-European to earn such an honor, a moment steeped in quiet revolution. Yet beneath the laurels and accolades, Tagore grappled with the complexities of identity amid colonial tension. His words became a sanctuary for an India struggling for freedom, a voice that stirred not only cultural awakening, but political consciousness. Here artistry merged with activism, framing Tagore not simply as a bard, but as a visionary whose pen wielded the power to inspire an empire's soul. Through the twilight haze of that transformative era, Tagore's influence spread like wildfire, his philosophies on education and unity transcending borders. Santiniketan blossomed under his guidance, a university unlike any other, where learning was symbiotic with nature and spirit. With each step forward, Tagore carved a legacy immortal, not bound by the past but bursting into the future, a timeless testament to human hope and creativity. As Rabindranath Tagore reached his 50s, a restless yearning stirred within him, drawing him deeper into the pulse of India's awakening. The winds of change were swirling, colonial chains tightening, voices rising, yet Tagore, the poet-philosopher, sought a new realm, blending art with activism, envisioning a free India's soul through melody and word. In 1912, Tagore penned fervent verses in protest against colonial oppression, his words exploding like thunder across the subcontinent. His collection, Gitanjali, carried echoes of hope and deep spirituality, capturing the world's imagination and winning hearts, including that of Nobel committees far beyond India's borders. Here poetry became a beacon, a call to awaken and reclaim identity. But Tagore's journey was no simple hero's tale. The political tides tested his convictions as he grappled with the tumultuous juxtaposition of nationalism and universal humanity. His critiques of narrow patriotism stirred controversy, illuminating a vision where freedom transcended borders, an invitation to embrace both pride and compassion in the face of oppression. Amidst this complex dance of politics and poetry, Tagore's music soared, anthems that awakened souls and healed divisions. His compositions, including the anthem of a newly imagined nation, stitched together ancient tradition with modern aspirations. In this chapter of struggle and illumination, Tagore emerged not just as a poet or philosopher, but as the voice echoing in the heart of India's quest for liberation. As the dawn of the 20th century broke over India, Rabindranath Tagore found himself at a crossroads. The world was changing, yet his soul drew strength from the ancient rhythms of Bengal. In this volatile climate, Tagore's pen became a weapon, not of violence, but of profound transformation, urging his people to awaken beyond the chains of colonial darkness, toward a future born of light and creativity. In 1914, amidst the turbulent echoes of World War I, Tagore made a courageous stand. Rejecting the British knighthood offered to him, he declared it a symbol of imperial subjugation. This act of defiance was more than personal. It vibrated like thunder across the subcontinent, inspiring a nation to reclaim dignity and honor on its own terms, stirring the winds of rebellion far beyond the written word. Meanwhile, Tagore's artistic vision expanded globally, weaving together East and West with breathtaking finesse. His plays danced across European stages, while his poetry found a voice in new languages. Yet despite international acclaim, his heart remained anchored in the villages and fields of Bengal, where he sought to nurture education and harmony, planting seeds that would blossom into a cultural renaissance. Through these years of restless creativity and fierce conviction, Tagore transcended the role of poet to become a beacon of humanism. His call was clear: embrace freedom, cherish truth, and celebrate the eternal song of humanity. As twilight fell on his life, that luminous legacy shone brighter than ever, a guiding star for generations, yearning to bridge divides and kindle the flames of hope and unity. As the dawn broke over the Bengal countryside in the late 19th century, Rabindranath Tagore found himself at a crossroads where tradition met the winds of modernity. His mind, restless and vibrant, wrestled with the deep-rooted customs of his homeland and the universal call for change. It was here, amid this turbulent inner world, that Tagore began crafting verses that would soon echo far beyond Indian shores. In the quiet solitude of his Jorasanko home, Tagore's pen danced across paper, weaving songs and poems that stirred the hearts of a nation yearning for freedom. But his art was no mere escape. It was a battle cry. With each line, he challenged colonial oppression, blending the spiritual richness of the East with the modern ideas sweeping the globe. His voice, simultaneously tender and fierce, galvanized minds and spirits alike. By 1911, Tagore's journey had taken him overseas, where the West was both fascinated and confounded by this Indian mystic poet. His first international lectures unveiled a mind fiercely protective of cultural identity, yet eager to foster global unity. Poetry became his universal language, bridging chasms of misunderstanding, inviting audiences to glimpse the soul of Bengal, vibrant, resilient, and infinitely wise. Yet beneath the accolades and worldwide acclaim, Tagore remained tethered to a profound sorrow, an acute awareness of his country's fragmentation and pain. His works, suffused with both hope and melancholy, stood as a testament to an unyielding love for humanity. Even as the world hailed him, he walked a solitary path, committed to weaving together the fractured threads of a changing India. The year was 1911. Tagore stood on the threshold of unprecedented acclaim. His poem Gitanjali had just been translated into English, capturing the fragile beauty of human spirit in divine dialogue. The world would soon recognize the Bengali poet as he crossed borders, not just of land, but of language and culture, to claim the Nobel Prize in Literature, a first for an Asian. Amidst this triumph, Tagore grappled with the tension between East and West, tradition and modernity. His writings became a bridge, a lyrical invitation for dialogue, weaving threads from his Indian roots with the broad fabric of universal human experience. Each verse resonated with a deep yearning for freedom, not just political, but intellectual and spiritual, awakening souls across continents. But beyond the accolades, Tagore's vision extended far deeper. He founded schools that flourished on the principles of creativity and open thought, defying rigid colonial systems. Santiniketan, his sanctuary of learning, was not just an institution, but a living poem, where art, nature, and education intertwined to nurture a new era of enlightened minds. In this turbulent period, Tagore's voice crossed oceans, urging humanity to embrace love and peace amid rising darkness. His legacy was never confined to books or awards. It was a call to awaken the heart's eternal song and to see the world not as divided, but beautifully united in its diversity. This was the fire he kindled, a beacon still burning bright. As the years unfolded, Rabindranath Tagore's pen carved the very soul of Bengal and beyond. By the dawn of the 20th century, his vision transcended mere poetry. He wielded words like a sculptor, shaping the cultural renaissance of a nation hungry for identity. In this chapter, we delve into the extraordinary moment when his art and activism intertwined, igniting hearts and challenging colonial shadows. The year was 1905, a turning point. The British Raj had unleashed the partition of Bengal, a calculated attempt to fracture unity. Tagore, sensing a nation fracturing, crafted verses that became anthems of resistance. His song Jana Gana Manam, which would later become India's national anthem, was born from this turmoil, a clarion call for solidarity and hope echoing across crowded streets and hushed villages. But Tagore's defiance was not confined to ink on paper. He launched schools, nurturing young minds with creative freedom, breaking the chains of colonial education. His establishment of Santiniketan was more than a sanctuary. It was a beacon radiating innovation, where art, nature, and humanity converged. His dream was a world where learning transcended boundaries, where the spirit soared unhindered. Yet amid global travels and monumental fame, Tagore remained deeply anchored in India's soil. His writings, suffused with profound empathy, were a mirror reflecting society's struggles and hopes. In a world on the cusp of seismic change, Tagore's voice emerged as both a shield and a sword, protecting culture, piercing through apathy, and inspiring generations to dream, to unite, and to act. As the dawn of the 20th century broke over Bengal, Rabindranath Tagore found himself at the crossroads of tradition and modernity. The winds of change whispered through the lush landscapes of his ancestral home, inspiring a new wave of literary and philosophical exploration. It was a time when Tagore's genius blossomed, weaving poetry and music into a tapestry that spoke to both the soul and the spirit of a nation yearning for identity. In the quiet solitude of his writing room, Tagore crafted verses that transcended language and culture. His words danced gracefully, capturing the divine in the everyday, the infinite within the finite. Each poem was a seed planted in the hearts of millions, destined to grow across continents, shaping perceptions of love, nature, and humanity itself. But Tagore's journey was not without its storms. The colonial shadows loomed large, and his artistic rebellion became a beacon of hope and resistance. Through music, art, and prose, he challenged the oppressive norms, nurturing a spirit of freedom that resonated far beyond the borders of British India. His Nobel Prize in 1914 was not just personal triumph, it was a clarion call to the world. As twilight approached, Tagore's legacy crystallized into a timeless symphony of human aspiration. His compositions, his plays, his paintings all spoke in unison, echoing through the corridors of history. In the heart of a rapidly changing world, Tagore remained steadfast, a visionary who turned words into wings, lifting generations toward a horizon where art and humanity meet. As the twilight of the 19th century cast its golden hues over Bengal, Rabindranath Tagore embarked on a journey that would forever alter the destiny of Indian literature. Immersed deeply in the Bengal Renaissance, he began weaving verses that captured the soul's longing for freedom, both personal and political. His works resonated with a harmonious blend of ancient wisdom and modern thought, echoing through the corridors of time. By the dawn of the 20th century, Tagore's pen had become an instrument of awakening. His plays and poems were not merely artistic endeavors. They were clarion calls against colonial shackles. In 1910, through the famous Swadeshi movement, his words kindled a fierce pride in indigenous culture, inspiring millions to rise above oppression with dignity and hope. But Tagore's vision stretched beyond politics. He saw education as a powerful liberation. In 1911, he founded Visva Bharati University at Santiniketan, a sanctuary where East met West in seamless dialogue. Here, he nurtured creativity, championed holistic learning, and sowed seeds of global understanding, challenging rigid colonial educational models with a fresh, humanistic approach. Despite international acclaim later awarded, his Nobel Prize for Literature in 1918, Tagore remained deeply rooted in his homeland's complexities. His later writings wrestled with the stark realities of partition and nationalism, urging unity beyond borders. Through every line, his enduring spirit spoke of an India yearning not only for political freedom, but for the emancipation of the human soul itself.